Okay, so we just went over greatest common factor, factoring by grouping, and then the sum or difference of cubes. The next one, the next way we can factor, draw a line, is by the difference in two squares. This is super easy. And the thing about oh goodness, about like these two are you just have to recognize when something is a cube or when something is a square. So it's not something that like you're immediately gonna know, oh yes, this is a cube, unless you know 8 is a cube. And so it might take, like, if you see the x to the third, that might be a hint. If you see x to a second, that might be a hint of a square. But without actually knowing, like, is this a cube? You might not know. And that's just going to take you going to, or you looking it up, or using your calculator to find out if it's a cube or a square. So the difference of two squares, your equation or your formula is going to look like, where's that? Okay. Can you please work? There. Your formula is going to look like x squared minus a squared equals x plus a times x minus a. Okay? So, for example, if you have x squared minus 9, then that equals x squared minus 3 squared, right? So that means you have your x, and then a is equal to 3. Okay, so plugging that in over to our formula here, so we'll have x squared minus 3 squared equals x plus a. No, wait, okay, so sorry. Scratch that. And this, okay, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. X squared, it would be your actual formula, so this would be like your simplified version of that, okay? So then it would be x plus 3, because we found this out right here. And then x minus 3, same thing, found that out there, okay? It's that simple. This right here is your answer. So our final one, and this one can get kind of tricky. They are called trinomials. This one takes a little bit more thought. So to do this, you're just going to want to know your standard equation, like what that looks like. So this is for equations that look like a coefficient x to the squared plus another coefficient x plus another number. So I will go into more depth, okay? So the problem, where do I write this? Okay, let's write this like 3x squared minus 19x plus 20. Okay, so your first step is going to be to write out A, B, and C. So I'm going to just do this over here, that way it's a little bit close to it. Okay. So A is equal, sorry, just color code these. So A is equal to 3. I don't have a blue, we'll do that. Blue, or B is equal to negative 19. C is equal to 20. Okay? So now, there are ways you can think about this, and I'll show you a few different. Okay. Your second step is going to take note if A does not equal 1. This is important, okay? So right now we know that A does not equal 1. We don't do anything with this information now, but we will later, okay? So, first, in the video I watched, he wrote an X, and I think it helped. You're going to write A times C. You're going to write a B down here, a multiplication sign, and then a plus sign, okay? So A times C, 3 times 20 equals 60. And your B is equal to negative 19. So, you want to find a number. Let me think of how I want to do this. Yeah, we'll do, that multiplies to get 60. And that adds to get 19, okay? So, these numbers are going to do both add to get 19, negative 19, and add to get 60. Well, oh snap. Okay. So let's think of our factors of 60. You have 1, 6, 2, 1 is 60, sorry. 2, 30, 3, 20, 4, 15. And all of these can, because remember, whenever you have your multiplication rules, an addition times an addition equals an addition, or positive plus times a positive equals a positive. Negative times negative equals a positive. So all of these can be plus or negative, because we're looking for a positive 60, and that is important. So this could be either positive or minus 61. This would equal positive or minus 32, positive or minus 23, positive or minus 19. Well, look at that. That's what we need. So, here's the question. Do we need a positive or do we need a negative? Well, here we see that we need a negative, so we need negative 4 and negative 15. Because negative 4 plus negative 15 equals negative 19. Negative 4 times negative 15 equals negative 60. So, now we're going to add an x to it. So, x minus 4, we got the 4 from right here, times x minus 15. Now, remember whenever we said take note if it does not equal 1, this is where that comes into play here. If this coefficient was a 1, we would stop right here. Like, we would be done. But because this does not Okay. Because this does not equal 1, it equals 3, we have to keep going. So I'm going to write that out. Don't stop. A does not equal 1. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to plug in I'll use another color. We'll do blue or orange because we haven't really used orange. So -4, -15, and we're going to plug that in for -19 because that's what it equals, right? So 3x squared minus 4x minus 15x plus 20. Okay, that's this equation written out, but using these for 19 instead, okay? Okay. So now remember when we learned factor by grouping? We're going to do that down here. So we look at this and, I don't know what just happened. Okay. So we're going to take this group and this group. So we have 3x squared minus 4x, and then we have -15x plus 20. So right here, we can automatically take out an x. Sorry, I did this in a different order in my notes, but it will still work the same. Actually, yeah, well, okay. So here we would be left with 3x still minus 4. Okay. And then over here, you always want, like, you're going to want to take out this negative sign. Typically you do, sometimes you don't. It's just sometimes you have to play around with it, but most of the time you'll want to take out the negatives. So -5 can be taken out of -15 and 20. So -5, if it's taken out of 15, it leaves you with a positive 3x. And then -15 out of 20 leaves you with 4. Look at that. So now this, where we just factored by grouping here we can factor, so we can say grouping. Now we can use greatest common factor here. Look at that. There is a 3x minus 4, and then x and -5 are left over. And that right there is the finished. Like I said, if x equaled 1, we could have stopped there, but because it doesn't, we have to account for this 3, and that's what this is. So, you can use, I would suggest that you use, let me see if I can find a pointer in here. I don't think I can. I would suggest you use, like, this little bit right here that I'm moving around, because I think that would be helpful just to, like, start off with, and then when we get more comfortable with it, you can. But let me see if I can maybe move my, here we go, where it's a little, yeah. So this, you should be able to maybe take a screenshot of it. I don't even know what shows up on my video whenever it does this, but I can write it out, or you can just, like, screenshot it, take notes as you need to, whatever you need to do.